afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Magnificent Mags channel on Thursday afternoon. I'm just doing this in my lunch break, just at my partner's, working from home from hers today before we go out later. And you know what? I can't actually wait to go out later. We're going for some food and we're going to see the new Fantastic Four film. And it'll be a welcome distraction over all this Alexander Isak news, because let's just face facts. The only thing that's fantastic today is me going to see that film. There's nothing fantastic with the club right now. So, yeah, welcome back to the Magnificent Mags channel. It's a disaster, isn't it? Yes. It's reported this morning we all waited with bated breath to see if he was on the flight to Asia to Singapore to play Arsenal, and then on to South Korea, where we'll play a Korean 11 in Spurs. But yeah, he wasn't. The club missed him off the post that they put on the app. They didn't give any reasons, no communication, but then suddenly it was updated to say he had a thigh injury, and that's the reason he's been left behind. Now look, before the news just broke from Craig Hope earlier, it still raises eyebrows, doesn't it? Because you've got all this speculation flying around. I've posted my thoughts on X in the last hour and what I think of the situation. And when I was at Glasgow on Saturday and the team news come out, I'd spoke to a couple of people when I was at a bar, and it raises eyebrows. Like, why is he not there? It's pre-season. And then Eddie Howe came out after the game and said he was managing his minutes, and the speculation surrounding him, it wouldn't have been good for him to sit in the stands. But one, I've never known a player, as I said in my video in Carlisle when I was on my way back on Saturday, for a player to be left out because of speculation. Every player who's good gets speculation. It's part and parcel of football. You will get admirers. But then when he said managing his minutes, well, pre-season's about getting fitness in the legs. It's about building up, ready for the new domestic season, and especially the one we've got ahead with 4 competitions, Champions League and that. So it did raise my eyebrows a bit, but you've got to trust the manager. So I did at the time, and I thought, look, he said he's confident he'll be on the plane on Thursday when they fly out, but he wasn't this morning. And then just coming out in the last hour or so, Craig Hope's dropped an absolute bombshell. It's like being throwing a grenade, catching it, then it going off. Or it's like a gunshot to the chest. Alexander Isak is basically signalled that he wants to explore his options this summer and possibly leave Newcastle United. And do I feel it's a bit snide from the player's side that he's waited until the club are in the middle of the air, flying over, possibly no signal, and then Eddie Howe lands and he finds out this news after he publicly backed him, saying he's happy with the club, the squad, the players, he's happy to be here. Now he's come out because it makes you think, this thigh injury, did the club get it wrong? Or you could legitimately say, is he feigning a thigh injury so doesn't have to go all the way to Asia? Then when he's here with the squad away and the manager, he can negotiate an exit from the club. That could have been how it's been engineered. We don't know, but all this has clearly come from the fact that the club have said they wanted to be number one. They've been ambitious, and I've said this in previous videos. He's wanted a new contract. Paul Mitchell stopped contract talks, saying it's a waste of money and time. He's got 3 or 4 years left, it was at the time. That's clearly irked Isak. Now, and I've said before, he's waited to see what our ambition is this summer. We've brought in his international teammate in Alanga, but we've just missed out on so many top targets, and he's probably thinking, well, you're not backing the ambition up. Where's the training ground? Where's the new stadium announcement? Where's the sponsorships to grow revenue? PSR's there, but while it's there to stay, you've got to find ways around it. I just want to say thank you to all the people who liked and shared my post the other night in response to Luke Edwards' story, which I think 110,000 of you responded or interacted with it, so thank you. It's just, why should he commit to a new contract if he's not seeing the ambition coming in? But to drop this the day, but it's also a massive signal of intent that the fact he's exploring his options means he probably wants to leave. Now, which clubs could possibly come in for him? Who could afford it? There's only 2 at the top of my head I can think of. One's PSG, the other's probably Liverpool. And yeah, it's a sad state of affairs because you have to go through it. My post that I mentioned, I've just posted in the last hour. What's the strategy of the club? What's the direction? It's frustrating. Look, these are passionate videos. It's not a rant. It's because we care. Fans are frustrated. We put a lot of money into the club. We care. We wanted to do well. And when we talk about ambition, but then it shows the opposite to ambition, and we're getting rid of Isak, either a domestic rival. What does that say to us as fans? What does that say to players at the club? And look, I know we probably mightn't be able to afford his wages, but we should at least explore like offering him a new contract, see what we can go up to. And then if he wants to leave, he's under contract for another 3 years, isn't he? It's either, look, Alex, we can't offer you what you want. If you want to go above this, it's either these are your options. A club comes in for you and pays what we want, 150, 175 million maybe, which behind Neymar and Mbappe would be a Premier League record and the third highest transfer fee in the world, unless a Saudi club come in. I'd prefer him to go abroad. I couldn't see him playing for a domestic rival. It would hurt. But yeah, if we can't afford to give him what he wants, it's either that club has to come in with the money we want, or we'll stand firm. And it's like, sign a new contract. We could put a release clause in that it could kick in next summer. Someone meets it, then you're off. It protects the club. We can reinvest it. Happy days. Or you're not signing a new contract, and it's like, right, well, you're staying this summer unless someone matches it, or next summer we'll probably look to sell you, give her one more season, and then if a club comes in when your value is a bit less, then fair enough, off you go. But it's not as simple as that he can just leave, and a club needs to come in with that. Now, I know the situation could change if Liverpool sell, like, say, Luis Diaz, or a Darwin Nunez. They're looking to sell a few players. So if they raise the funds there, even though I probably still think they do have the funds, they're just on this massive splurge, I wouldn't want them to go there. It would just be awful. But I'm saying this, if anyone's watching this and you're a Liverpool fan, look, I don't care if you bookmark me tweets, I'm sticking to what I said. Situations can change. I felt nothing in this window so far that told me he wanted to leave. Obviously, the situation can change, and now I'll reassess it. And yes, it is disappointing. I think it has come from his agent. Look, the Mitchell talks have probably been a consequence of this. Contract talks have broken down. And then his agent's like, right, fine, I think me client's worth more than this. I'm going to go and look elsewhere. Put the sounders out to clubs, the feelers, see what they come back with. Liverpool have done an informal inquiry, as Eddie Howe said after the Celtic defeat on Saturday. But no formal approach. That could obviously change now if this is to be believed. But yeah, they have to come in with that money, and it's definitely got to be coming from his agent, because it's either that, it's trying to sound out clubs who can afford him to get him what he thinks he's worth, whether that's 250, 300 grand a week, what's been rumoured online. I don't believe that. I just don't know. It's conjecture. I don't believe Alex Crew to TalkSport. I don't care if he's your chief football correspondent. You could just chuck any figure out there. And also, as well, his agent might be doing that to put pressure on us to say, right, put your money where your mouth is with ambition, back that up. But the club at the moment, fans are quite rightly frustrated. It's a mess. Darren Eales is still here. It's been over 300 days since his departure was announced, that he's going to step down for his health reasons, his blood cancer. As I said in my last video, it can't be good for his health that he's still here in situ. Who's his replacement? CEO's been touted about yesterday online, but nothing from the club yet. It could be happening behind the scenes, but as I talk now, which is 1:30 on Thursday afternoon, yes, no CEO announcements being announced. And then you go at the SportingDirector. It's being said that Ross Wilson's the leading candidate from Forest. But look, if Ross Wilson's not going to be coming in until like a month before the window ends, this isn't exactly good. Paul Mitchell clearly had contacts. Look, if you don't get on, you don't get on with someone. I've said it before, when we're in jobs, you don't get on with people, you don't get on with some people in life. That's life. People either like you or they don't, but you find a compromise, especially in work, for the greater good, which is the club in this case, and then you just make it work. Couldn't a compromise have been met till the end of the transfer window? We could have helped we get our targets in, and then say, right, we'll do the transitional period when the window's closed to get Ross Wilson in. But no, it's a mess. The club's a mess. There's no communication with the training ground, nothing with the stadium where we're staying or going. They've talked about maximising commercial revenue in terms of bringing sponsorships in to increase revenue, to beat PSR, to invest in the playing side. Nothing on that. Why? Are we waiting for the APT case with Manchester City? Couldn't we get deals in the short term? Look, I've said before, it might be the case that they are waiting for this, and you could shortchange yourself, sell yourself short. If the APT ruling, which would be typical, it would come out just after we sign short-term deals, and then you're stuck in a contract. getting a lesser value. So we don't know, but the club should be maximising these areas, and they haven't. Why? And then again, I've said it, I think it's just a balance of expectation v reality. I praise the club massively in terms of their ambition going for Hugo Ekitike, João Pedro, Liam Delap was definitely one for the future, Cunha, and Boom. I know Cunha was like, it wasn't really solid info, but again, it's showing ambition. And then James Trafford. These targets definitely would have improved with squad depth, raised the quality of the squad. But we're missing out. Is this because we've got no actual structure in place at a hierarchical level? What's happening at an executive level, a hierarchical level? Like, there's no one in place who seems to know what they're doing in terms of transfers. We're lowballing these clubs. They've said what they want. Look, I know you don't have to go to it. It's like, even this with Wissa, it's reported that obviously we've had a £25 million bid rejected, but now Brentford apparently wanting 40 plus 5 million in add-ons. Will we go to that? We don't know. Look, it's clearly naivety at that level that they've got people who can't really get these deals done and over the line. You look at Chelsea. Look, Chelsea have got the money to spend. It's annoying, but this is PSR. It's working as intended. But Chelsea, no one can compete with them in terms of wages, what they can offer in terms of transfer fees. They've got a straight run at transfers. They're now bringing in Xavi Simons, for example. It's crazy. Their squad just keeps getting stacked. And then these players don't work out, or a new manager comes in if Maresca's sacked. Then they just sell them on for a profit, and then they never own anything in terms of amortization, so they can go again. Every club spending but us, and it's naivety in this transfer market. We're lowballing clubs, and then when we're dawdling, because it has to run up a hierarchical chain for PIF, has to go through these channels. By the time it's said that it's rejected at the top and what can offer when it comes back down to the bottom, wherever it is, then other clubs who can offer more money with bigger revenues and wages get a steal on with them. We just can't compete. And then we're back to square one. I said in my last video, have we got a plan, not just a plan A, have we got a plan B? Is there a contingency where we're going for that target? I'd love Wissa. 19 goals last season, all non-penalty goals. 4 assists, 23 goal and assist contributions. He played, I think, 35 games, so he's always available. I think he'd be great, but again, if we're dawdle on Wissa, Spurs could come in. Thomas Frank's there, his old manager. Spurs can also offer Champions League football. He's got a working relationship with Frank. So it's just such a frustrating window, and it's just, there's so much silence. It feels very one way at the moment, doesn't it? Like fans asking to pay so much, but we're getting nothing in return. Fans are quite rightly frustrated. They're feeling fed up. They want answers from the club. And I'll say this with Isak, whether he stays or not, we could possibly go into this season at Aston Villa with Sean Neave and Will Asula up top. And the ticket prices, fans are being asked to pay around £58 for level 7 to watch a squad with one new signing. And whether you thought Longstaff and Wilson were good, losing them, we've lost squad depth going into a season with 4 competitions, at least 48 games, possibly more. It's just not a good look. It's just not reflecting good on PIF. And it's so frustrating at the moment. Again, we want the club to do well. That's why we're passionate online. But it just feels everything's just like stagnated at the moment. Have they lost interest? Any other industry in most other industries that can invest freely, football they can't. Wages have to be 70% of revenue. We've got the 8th highest wage bill in the league. They can't invest freely. Has the reality hit that we have to sell big? Like an Isak, for example, if he does leave and then reinvest it, and they've got so many like industries that they're in, they're thinking, is it worth our time doing this? That they can't do what we could if they'd bought a top 6 club. It could be. They might have lost interest. That's why everything's silent. But I'll say this with Isak. He's won a trophy, scored with 62 goals since he signed. He does know an explanation. Eddie Howe's unfortunately right. Players have short careers, and if he wants to leave, he'll leave. But it has to be when we get a transfer fee that we want. If the club stand firm, I hope they do. If he puts in a transfer request, it's either the club meets that asking price or you just won't play, because we'll have an unhappy player, but he just won't play. But a compromise will probably have to be found, because Eddie Howe's all about harmony, but he'd be furious that he's left this morning with Isak saying he's injured, and then if he lands over there in Singapore and he finds out that he wants to leave, that's not going to be good. I don't care how far away you are, he's the manager. That'll have an impact, and when the rest of the squad see that. So yeah, everything's just very disjointed at the moment. Ticket prices rising. tons of merchandise and we're not getting any signings in. It's silent. Fans are quite rightly frustrated, and the season starts in, 23 days. This just isn't good. It isn't a good look, and something has to give. But the only thing I can say to round this video off is just remember this. I've been watching us since 1992 when I was 5-year-old. I've watched for 33 years. I've seen big players come and go. No player at the end of the day is bigger than the club. If he goes, we've got to get the best transfer fee we can from him. Then you reinvest. You move on and you just put all your energy into the players who want to be here, because it's wasted energy worrying about the player who's left. Look, I wanted Ferdinand to stay in 1997. Once him and Ginola went as well to Spurs, I forgot all about them. You just concentrate who's here. Wanted Kabay to stay, he left. Concentrate on the players who are here. Players come, players go. I know it's a short career, but you just concentrate on who's at your club. And remember this as well, if we get the fee we want, we can reinvest it. You got Harry Kane, he left Spurs to go to Bayern Munich. West Ham, they're not bigger than we, but they let Declan Rice go to reinvest it, so he went to Arsenal. Liverpool have lost Coutinho, Torres and Suarez. They've reinvested the money. It happens. Man U, even under Fergie, when he didn't want them anymore, he got rid of Stam, he got rid of Beckham, Van Nistelrooy. It happens. You move on. It's just the timing of it leaves a very sour taste in the mouth. Because I've said I don't think he's leaving, but that's when we didn't have this news. Situations can change. Your opinion can change. In my opinion, this window so far is meant to be this big, happy, transformative window that was talked up with no PSR issues in terms of offering transfer fees. But the reality is it's frustrating, it's tedious, and everyone feels very unhappy at the moment, and it's very worrying going into such a big season. But anyway, that's it from me for now. I just want to give my opinion. I hope everyone's all right outside the Newcastle United news. I don't think any work's getting done by anyone today. Everyone's distracted. But we'll just have to put our feet up, sit back and watch what happens, because we're not in control. We've just got to hope the club can do the right thing. But trust it in the club at the moment and the hierarchical structure at the executive level. There isn't much of that. But we'll have to wait and see. The season's 3 weeks away. Let's just hope we get Wissa through the door and it improves the mood somewhat, because I think he'd be a very good signing. But for now, take care, everyone. I hope the rest of your week goes well and you have a safe, happy weekend. Thanks now. Take care. Bye-bye.